Hi, this is Lex, and welcome to the FinTech Blueprint. It's your podcast about fintech, decentralized finance, digital banking, investing, robo-advice, artificial intelligence, and all the other frontier technology that is transforming financial services. To get more content, like an illustrated transcript of this conversation in your inbox, subscribe at fintechblueprint.com. So without further delay, let's jump into today's episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Today, we are going to have a fantastic conversation with Sergej Kunz, who's the co-founder of 1inch Network, one of the most interesting protocols in DeFi today, aggregating decentralized trading, as well as doing lots of other really interesting stuff on the edge. Sergej, welcome to the conversation.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. So maybe we'll just start off with a bit of your journey and your experience before you came to the world of crypto and DeFi. How did you start your career? What were your core interests and your early experiences?
So I'm software engineer and architect since like 17 years. I early started to learn how to write programs. I did my first freelancer jobs already with 16, 17. So earned already a little bit this time. And I just continued to educate myself and started one day after the school to learn a profession, we call it here in Germany, being a software developer. So it took like 3 years. And these 3 years, already in the second year, I was better than my lead in the team in software development. After like 5 years in a company, I started to jump to other startups because I wanted to educate myself and I wanted to grow, in my knowledge and my skills.
What makes somebody a better software developer than somebody else? When you say you outgrew your manager in your company, can you talk about systemically, what does that mean?
So the thing is, I was working not just only 8 hours a day. After the work, I continued to educate myself. So I was experimenting with different frameworks, wrote different MVPs, and was looking how to improve what I am already doing on my job. I didn't work like only 8 hours. And this was like a difference to all other guys with whom I was working. I had more knowledge and just say for specific framework which we were using for software development in the company. So I knew everything about this framework and knew how to write more efficient applications with that. And I was faster. I was faster in writing the code and also like production ready code. This was the difference. Yeah, for sure. I was not that experienced that I am right now. So because like over time you learn. Yeah, it's never end story. So you can learn your whole life. You can improve your whole life.
The two things I heard was around efficiency, and you didn't use the word elegant, but I'll use it, using code that's more elegant. And I think especially in the context of blockchain's code that is sort of more compressed conceptually is really important. And then being able to be fast and ship faster than others is really key. Okay, so you were kind of in a generic software building function, and then you moved on to which industries? Like, where did you start to focus?
I started as a software engineer working on e-commerce applications like web shops. Then I jumped into other company where I was system administrator. So it was a great time where I learned a lot of network, how to set up a network, how to manage a lot of kind of customers. Yeah, so it was actually a hospital with a lot of computers, and I was responsible for the whole hospital for the infrastructure for like IT PC infrastructure. And after that, I switched to an aggregator startup here in Stuttgart, where I'm living. Before I was in Black Forest, so I moved to a bigger city and started to work on an aggregator. It was a product aggregator. For example, we offered an API which offered the customers, actually it was only B2B, where the customer get a list of online shops where they can buy a specific product. And also a little bit later, we introduced also the functionality to find a product, like maybe a TV, in a local shop next year.
Help me understand a little bit. What is an aggregator that you're talking about? What does it aggregate?
It aggregates products and the online shops and local stores, and offered aggregated information where to find the best price in which shop, online shop or local store. Just was the aggregation.
How did you build, not the database, but the relationship to all the different stores? One question is, how did you build the inventory of all those stores? And then how did you build the demand? How did you get people to come to the site?
So it wasn't my startup. So I had only a software engineer job there. Of course, they had like business dev team, which were working with the manufacturers like LG, for example. And on the other side, the guys also got integrations with online shops. So they got all the feeds like from Amazon. So the algorithm had enough data to aggregate among all the available products among a lot of online stores. But it was not my part. I was just software engineer there. But everything what I have seen, I learned. So, and it helped also me here at 1H a lot.
It's really interesting because it's a very different industry, but the conceptual problem is really similar, right? If you have commerce and you have lots of little shops, like each one is a market and people go to that particular market to get some particular good. And then there's a function for how do you make a destination that's easy for people to come to that gives you sort of the best clearing price across this entire economy. And then not only is it the goods and the demand in that particular store, but it kind of floats up a level from there. Can you draw a line from these kind of early experiences to your start with decentralized finance and with crypto? What pulled you there?
Before that, I have to say that I started my first aggregator already in 2011. It was a telecommunication aggregator. It was a little bit before I moved to Stuttgart to this product aggregator. So I had already there kind of solution to offer the best price for sending SMS around the globe. So I was educating myself also parallel to my normal software engineer job in business relations and also building a product.
Yeah, I love it. You can't help but aggregate things.
So after this aggregation startup in Stuttgart, I moved to an agency, software development agency, and a little bit later I jumped into the consulting company which consults Siemens, Bosch, Porsche, and I did some projects there on Bosch and Siemens, and also at Porsche I was external software engineer, DevOps engineer, also at Porsche AG in Stuttgart, and moved internal to Porsche. And in this time, I already started to move around the globe, to travel around the globe together with Anton Bukov, my co-founder, and participating on hackathons. I guess it was like September 2018 when I started to work with Anton. We had a YouTube channel together, and we did security audits in live streams for smart contracts. It was funny time. We explained people how to write code, how to audit the smart contracts. And this traveling around the globe on hackathons helped me a lot. And participating for sure. We were like participating on 17 hackathons around the globe since 2018 December and early 2020. And it helped me a lot to be more efficient, and more professional in how to deliver in short time, fully production ready prototypes. So it was really huge learning. And also we collected a lot of contacts to other hackers. Most of those guys who were sitting on the table when I was writing 1H together with Anton in New York on the hackathon, most of them are working with us right now as core contributors to 1H network. Yeah, so through the hackathons, I jumped into Web3 world and Ethereum. I had a small time where I was mining Ethereum as well in Germany, but it started to be not profitable, and I concentrated to just traveling around the globe and writing prototypes.
How did you approach the technology? What attracted you to Ethereum in the first place? Was it just like, well, I know PHP and SQL and now in Java, and now I'm going to learn Solidity? Or were there any light bulbs for you that went on from interacting with the Web3 space?
I like the idea of the Web3 approach that you don't have a backend. You don't have a centralized backend, a honeypot which can be hacked. Yeah, so you just need a small piece of front end, UI application, and then you can interact directly with the blockchain. Yeah, applications on the decentralized computer, Ethereum. Yeah. For sure, it was for me a little bit difficult to understand how Solidity works in terms of I know Java very well. When I started first time to write smart contracts, it was writing Java, and it was not efficient. Yeah, because this all the patterns which are existing in Java, you can just drop in the trash. Building from scratch. Solidity was really simple, or it's still very simple. If you are looking deeper, then you understand that a lot of things are very complex, and if you want to write very high efficient code, then you need to know a lot of things about EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. It was a good learning for me, but I didn't concentrate myself on writing smart contracts. I guess my first thing what I wrote on smart contracts was arbitrage board. Yeah, I used Uniswap, Banker, Kyber to find the arbitrage opportunity, and it worked very well. I wrote also a small algorithm to find the best distribution, where to buy, where to sell, and this was the the base idea, the ground idea, which I shared with Anton on a hackathon in May 2019. Where we built 1inch. So Anton wanted actually a page where everyone can see liquidity sources like Uniswap, Kyber, and so on, and the algorithm would just find the best one. And I suggested to him, why not you write an algorithm which finds exactly the right amount which should be exchanged each of these specific liquidity sources to achieve best rate. Yeah, it makes sense to split amount in multiple pieces and exchange part on Uniswap, part on Kyber, part on Banker. This helped us to build 1inch, the first version of it.
Awesome. So switching to 1inch, how would you describe the network today?
1inch network itself is actually a set of contributors, core contributors who are right now building for 1inch project. It contains a good amount of different protocols, and of course our main protocol, I would say, is the aggregation protocol with our unique algorithm. This is sometimes a little bit chaotic. It's sometimes, because it's a lot of people right now already there, 100 people, the communication is very important, and we try to have all the teams aligned and moving in the same direction altogether.
Can you talk about maybe the early days of 1inch, when during the DeFi summer and kind of the early usage and liquidity that you were experiencing? What was that like? Who were the folks that were coming to the protocol, and what was the value proposition to them?
So actually, we didn't do anything to them. We built the first prototype on the Ethereum Global Hackathon in ETH New York, May 2019. And I was walking through the venue and pitched to everyone the 1inch. And one guy, Liam Horns from Ethereum Global, they said this is the next big thing. Because we have seen really great improvement in the price by using 1inch aggregator instead of using directly Uniswap. But the judges whom I was pitching at the end, they actually didn't get it. Yeah, they said okay, it's fine, looks great, but we didn't mean anything. But somehow someone started to share. The people started to share our link to the application because it was in production. Yeah, it was in mainnet. People started to share with everyone, and they started to use it. So we didn't promote it or something. We just built it on a hackathon. have built a lot of other applications. For example, in South Africa, we have built a decentralized streaming platform for video where you pay for each kilobyte through payment channels by using RAID network. So and here the same, like we had just the application, people started to use that. And I guess 2 weeks later, I called Anton and said, hey, take a look on the contract. A lot of people using it already. And we started to work for this project. So we just improved that. We created a Twitter account and started just to publish our updates. So we added new liquidity sources. People just used us because we solved the problem. Because it makes no sense to go to one of those liquidity sources directly, like Uniswap, because you never know that you get the best rate, right? And on higher amounts, you need to use aggregator anyway, because you have the liquidity distributed among a lot of liquidity sources.
Right. So just to kind of paraphrase that or frame it, right, in DeFi, when you are trying to do trades, if you want to do those on chain, you're going to perform those through automated market makers. The automated market makers are, well, they're automated and they compress the concept of an order book. They don't have a concept of an order book, but they compress it down to a price curve, an indifference curve between two or more different goods. And so Uniswap is one of those, and there's lots of others. But the curves are going to be different in lots of different places, and the prices will be different on those curves in lots of different places, depending on quote unquote liquidity, i.e. the market making activities of market participants like investors, hedge funds, arbitrageurs, whatever you like. And so one of the things that an aggregator can do is, in financial markets, you would call it best execution, or trade order routing between venues that have the best price at the moment. In other industries, you would just call it price comparison shopping. So something like Kayak that allows you to compare airplane ticket prices to the same destination. These are all essentially the same conceptual space. And so what 1inch did was sort of reveal in a single place and with the ability to implement a trade in a single place by connecting all of these different liquidity venues for swapping tokens and other assets. And so I guess one of the questions I had was, how do you think about, in the early days, about growing the usage of this? Why did people come to use it? And maybe that's also an opportunity to talk about the liquidity mining programs and how you came to implement those and the partnerships that went along with it.
So, how I said, we didn't push it by ourselves. People just started to use it because it solved the pain. Yeah, it solved the pain of people, and that's why we had success. Yeah, and for sure we improved over time the aggregation. We started first with splitting among liquidity sources. Now we are routing through multiple market depths. So if you exchange Ethereum to USDC, you may use in the middle BTC market, WBTC market, USDC, DAI markets together with this Ethereum token coin. So, and for sure, we were looking also for partnerships, collaborations with everyone who is in the DeFi space. And we had some farming collaborations with other projects. We invented our own liquidity protocol, which is different to Uniswap V2.
What is farming and what is a liquidity protocol?
Liquidity protocol is AMM, automatic market maker. So what you explained before, it's like an order book, but automated based on specific conditions. The price moves on bonding curve, for example. Our implementation of AMM, if I compare it to Uniswap V2, is also full range that you provide in a liquidity pool. Our difference was and is that we protect the people from sandwich front-running attacks. So in the blockchain world, in the Ethereum world, if you do an exchange, someone can swap before you, and the price can change. You potentially get less than expected. You can protect yourself by setting the limit, how much less you want. You're okay to get. And in Uniswap, someone can just jump before you and jump after you, like swapping before you, swapping after you, and will cut your maximum price slippage tolerance. In our case, we introduced virtual balances, which remove this functionality, like protects people from being front run. What's happening today right now a lot on use of V3, on use of V2 still, because it's profitable for people monitor mempools, analyze all the transactions, and cutting profits from people for swaps. So, and farming itself, the thing is, our liquidity protocol, to get volume, you need, it's like chicken egg problem. To get volume, you need liquidity. So, and we had no liquidity. So we had also not the right amount of money to put it in liquidity protocol. So we were looking for people who can put on liquidity in our liquidity protocol. For this, farming is used also in all other projects where people get a token incentive, kind of. For example, it can be a token or it can be something else. So in our case, we distributed. So the foundation distributed 1-inch tokens to incentive people to provide liquidity in liquidity protocol. So the protocol would get volume, and the earnings can go to the DAO treasury. So yeah, we were looking for collaborations, and we found a couple of projects who also provided own tokens as incentive for people who provide liquidity in our liquidity protocol. Yeah. So the benefits for those projects is that they have liquidity on the market, and people can trade the token or whatever else. So,
a lot of projects, what they would do is they would want to bootstrap the ability for people to trade their tokens inside of AMMs, and that's risky. You can experience some permanent loss. You can experience price collapse in one of the pairs, and so often what they would do to get around that is to offer some portion of their token supply as advanced reward for some amount of time to market makers inside of the AMM. How did that go? Do you have any lessons about what a successful liquidity bootstrapping program looks like versus what an unsuccessful one looks like? There's been a lot of kind of conversation about protocol-owned liquidity and the incentive issues of kind of farming very quickly and then abandoning a token. Of course, 1inch stood up a bunch of different pools for people. Can you talk about what makes one more successful than another?
It depends from which view you're looking on that. So from our perspective, like my team perspective, for example, is it was good to see how the performance of the pool is, where we had enough liquidity. So we recognized that our pool was really efficient on pumps and dumps. It protects the liquidity providers from losing money on a dump, because the pool charged much more on fees. Yeah, and if you are looking from the perspective of the teams or the projects who started the also farming program together with 1inch, I guess they have they were able to onboard more people to getting the token, because if the token is not liquid on a secondary market, no one would buy it for example, participating in a DAO, for example. Yeah, so you would like to participate in the DAO of a new project, for example, and if the token is not available on the market, or less of like this low liquidity, you would lose a lot of money. So price impact could be really huge if there's a really small amount of liquidity. That's our two views. And another view from the 1inch Foundation, which is independent non-profit organization, which provided the tokens from the community fund for the mining. The incentive was to onboard new token hodler to participate in the DAO. Yeah, so we wanted to see the 1inch network as decentralized as possible. And if you look right now in the distribution of the token, it looks really great. You have no huge whales who decide everything in the DAO. You have a really great distribution of those people who participate. Yeah, these are our views.
What about any negative learnings? Anything that didn't work that now you look at it and you say, of course that didn't work. Of course people shouldn't be trying that when they're trying to stand up these pools.
The liquidity protocol and the farming topics were like done by the core contributors because there was a demand for that. So there's a problem on the market, still on the market, that liquidity AMMs, liquidity protocols are still not efficient enough from our point of view. That's why we have built our own AMM liquidity protocol. And there was also demand for farming, because a lot of projects asked, okay, how can we incentivize people to provide liquidity? So, and that's why we have built the two protocols, I would say. Also, this farming thing is our own protocol, which was initially built by my co-founder Anton Bukov for synthetics, to incentivize people to stake synthetics tokens and get also rewards for this, and being automatically a liquidity provider. Yeah, to increase the liquidity in the protocol. We never, I don't know, was thinking about, I don't know, earning money or something like that. It was just about the technology and solving problem itself, and fulfilling the demand and the requests. And yeah.
How do you think about the token of the protocol itself? What was the decision for launching that? How did the launch go? And then maybe if you could draw some of the lines to the DAO and governance today.
We came to the idea for our AMM 2020 in summer. We have built it over two weeks, this protocol. And we came to the conclusion that there are a lot of settings which should be set by someone. Yeah. And actually, I don't want to run my own AMM. I don't want to be responsible for this AMM and everything. And we came to the idea that actually community can govern the protocols which we have. Also, the aggregation protocol. There's a revenue stream which is governed by the DAO, and the revenue goes to the DAO, not to us as contributors. The same as in liquidity protocol. It generates also fees, which goes also to the DAO itself. It's a small amount, and this DAO decides how much fees should be taken from each trade. Regarding the launch of one-each token, so one-each token is a good solution, to so everyone who staked the one-each token can participate in the governments. Yeah. In the Christmas night back in 2020, the token was launched by the foundation, already said, non-profit organization, which also distributed the token among the core contributors, own still part of the community fund to distribute it to the community for incentives, maybe for participations. So right now we have this gas refund program from the foundation, which refunds the gas costs by using one-each protocol if you stake specific amount of tokens. So the token itself was used also to set these all settings. Yeah, so you stake, you get specific amount of power to change something. So you are able to vote for specific settings. For example, you say, okay, I'm for charging 10% of fee in a AMM protocol, liquidity protocol. Then the protocol takes the weighted average of every wallet which votes, and set the right value. Yeah, this was the initial idea. Nowadays we have a treasury of the DAO as well, which is governed by the DAO. Someone can propose. It has right now around $8 million from the revenue streams from the aggregation protocol and liquidity protocol, and the DAO can decide what to do with this money. They can decide to give this money for maybe another team who are joining one-each network and build maybe a new protocol which can be also integrated into one-each network ecosystem. Just the state.
Did you have in mind this decentralized sort of DAO governance model way in the beginning, or did you come to it organically? And for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's quite difficult to get comfortable with the idea that there are going to be other people who are going to be, writing in core functionality to a tool that they've built, and that they have to sort of step away and give control to others and give direction to others in this way. What are your feelings about it? How did you navigate that decision for yourself?
So at the beginning, before one-each token, we had no DAO, because DAO, to participate in DAO, you need right now a token, right? So you need something, to be a part in the DAO. So before one-each token, we had just the aggregation protocol, liquidity protocol, which we called at the beginning Uniswap. We were just building. So we were like not a big team. Actually, we were like 2.5 men until, I don't know, May 2020. So from May 2019 to May 2020, we were like just like Anton and Michael part-time working on this. We just built it. So we didn't earn from this. We were working in the nights until we raised the first round, where we got enough money to fully concentrate to build these protocols and improve the aggregation itself. And I already explained, one day we came to the point that someone needs to decide how the protocol settings should be. Yeah. So at least in the liquidity protocol, also in the aggregation protocol for the revenue stream, which we have right now for the DAO. And I don't wanna see the whole thing what we have built as a centralized piece of something. Yeah. And that's why we introduced it like DAO. Yeah, for sure it's difficult. Kind of if there are a lot of people who have different minds to come something. Yeah, what is really good for this project. It's still experiment. So if, for example, DAO decides I should leave the core team, I wouldn't do that. I would just continue build. So they can do anything regarding this. But what they can do is to work right now with specific settings which are written smart contracts. Then they can decide on that. Yeah. If they want another protocol, they can decide on that. So integrate in this whole system. If they want to use this money which are collected in the DAO treasury, $8 million, they can do that. Yeah. They are like we need to separate. Responsibilities, I would say. Yeah? There are also other contributors who would like maybe join the network, would like to build something on that. They can apply for a grant, yeah, and foundation can give them a grant, or they can apply directly on the DAO and get like a grant from the DAO directly. This is still an experiment from my point of view, and we need to try it from my point of view. Yeah.
We covered a lot about the protocol and the tokens and the liquidity programs. I wanted to switch a little bit and talk about your view on the multi-chain scaling world that we're now experiencing, where you've got lots of side chains, lots of rollups, and Ethereum turning much more into Web3. And then adjacent to that is the idea of bridges and moving value between these different chains. We started out talking about aggregation of particular market venues, the AMMs, and now there's an aggregation that needs to happen, not just of, like the storefront in some particular ecosystem, but of ecosystems with many different storefronts there too. Talk a little bit about how 1inch thinks about sort of this splintering of Web3 into different rails, and then if you can also how you think about the bridging part.
So I can tell you what I think about that. If you want to hear what 1inch think about that, you need to ask every member in 1inch network. So regarding me, I see other chains like Polygon and Binance Smart Chain as kind of what we actually don't need, because they didn't solve any problems. They didn't solve the scalability problem. They didn't solve the state problem, which is growing a lot. They just offered a more kind of less stable version of Ethereum from our point of view. So, and better than Ethereum can be on Ethereum. We will see this summer, at least this year, end of the year, maybe the merge. That means we will have we will not have proof of work anymore. We would use the validators from Ethereum 2.0 already in Ethereum 1. Yeah, and this is great, and this is innovation, I would say. And layer 2 is also innovation. Like, for example, ZK Sync from the Metal Labs is coming. I hope this year. They have already testnet. And it offers 25,000 TPS. And this is a lot. We can work very well with this. And this is also innovation. I love to see innovations and not just forks, which just actually didn't change anything from the technological perspective, point of view. Just how I see it regarding networks, regarding bridges, there are some bridges which are not that decentralized as they should be. For example, Polygon in the beginning had already almost 500 millions, I guess, and they had still no multisig in the bridge. And this is really bad. From my point of view, maybe we can have native bridges between Ethereum and maybe, for example, Near, or other networks which are sustainable and innovative, to just ensure that no one will lose money. So last hack, bridge hack, I guess it was Axis, 600 millions was stolen, something like that. And this is also a huge topic, security. This is a difficult topic. So bridges, cross-network bridges are okay. I need also by myself to move sometimes some tokens between networks, but they have to be secured. And something like cross network swaps sounds cool, but in implementation itself, it's difficult because you have a delay between transfer between the networks, and it can be that something's stuck in the middle and it needs to be transferred by hand or something like that. Some of the bridges are doing that, and projects who are offering cross network swaps. I see that the future in the layer 2, which offers a composable layer 2 like ZK Sync, for example, where everyone can deploy and everything is proven, and proofs are provided to the main network, which is Ethereum. This is my vision. Sharding architecture is not a cool idea from my point of view because it makes everything more complicated, and like atomic swaps, for example, wouldn't work in a sharded architecture because one of the liquidity source could be in a completely different shard, which can be only executed, like the trade can be executed only in a synchronous manner, and so it's not anymore atomically. The main advantage of Ethereum is that you can execute atomically, something, and this is really huge benefit of Ethereum. In the future, everything from my point of view can be scaled in layer 2.
How much do you think of these issues are technology problems, versus like social organization problems in terms of insurance and social welfare and kind of norms, versus financial problems in terms of where the money goes and where the incentives goes? It always feels to me like it's hard to thread the needle, right? To figure out whether a technological solution might be a really bad market outcome, or if the desire for lots of farming rewards and incentives leads to a whole bunch of kind of lower quality technology or sort of unaudited bridges, or, the lack of strong social norms and a really squishy kind of DAO structure and very international approaches to things means that, again, it's a race to the bottom for what the public good is. How do you think about these issues? Is this something that you engage on?
This difficult topic. For sure, we see a lot of incentives out there, farming, staking, whatever else, and people are looking for profit. And a lot of people lost also a lot of money because of these nice-looking earnings opportunities. But behind that is just maybe a fork of Uniswap, and also not audited smart contract. I see this farming and incentive thing as also as an experiment, and it worked in Sushi case. So Sushi got a lot of liquidity, but they didn't innovate anything actually, and the core contributors were exchanged by some other community members, which means that actually nothing happening right now in Sushi, what I know. What I have seen. Of course, they built something like the money market, but at the end, it was not innovation, and it has no traction, because it's not solving any problems.
If our listeners want to find out more about the 1inch network, contribute to it, engage with it, as well as if they want to find out more about you and follow you, where should they go?
We have 1inch.io website. You can have a look on that. You will see all our protocols. We have docs.oneinch.io, a page where you find all the documentation about the protocols, how build something on top of that. We have also a page for foundation, oneinch.io/foundation. There you can apply for a grant if you have a great idea to improve the DeFi ecosystem or build on top of 1inch. And we have also iOS and Android applications, which is actually a DeFi wallet, which you can install and use as a non-custodian wallet in all the 7 networks which we support right now. We have Twitter accounts. If you subscribe, you get all the news. We post all the times when we release something, you get the notification through Twitter. And we have also Discord. Join our governance forum, and you can propose something and improve the space. If you want to join the core contributor team, also on oneinch.io, you can find a contact to get in touch with the team who is working with the new people. After a few core contributors interviews, you may be able to join to our core contributors, or you're an independent software engineer, you have just an idea, you can just build something and offer to on the forum, offer to put it in a 1inch network and apply also for the grant. Already said, everyone can apply for a grant and get some money to be able to start, because I know how it is at the beginning. So I and Anton, we applied for Ethereum grant, for example, and Ethereum declined us to give a grant. So we were not able to concentrate fully on this protocol. We tried to give to the people something what we didn't receive from Ethereum Foundation, at least.
Awesome. Sergej, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure.
Hi, everyone. That's it for this week's episode of the FinTech Blueprint. For more technical deep dives into all things fintech and decentralized finance, check out fintechblueprint.com and grab a free subscription to the newsletter. This is Lex, and I'll see you next time.